another place without me, or in ecstasy, and I'm left wondering.
2,
You push.
and we're live. Peak meters, check, go. Ooh, you know what I have to do?
What?
I have to actually turn on my USB device. So while I'm doing that, Corey Mello, ESP008. We're live on you now. We're live on FRC Community Media Television. We're live on FRC Media Radio. Welcome, welcome, welcome. For those of you joining in the hashtag gaming, this is going to be an all tabletop gaming, some anime mixed in. So maybe some actual video gaming in there, but mostly tabletop gaming. So thank you for joining us. I'm really excited about this episode. So quick bio, because we do it for everyone. Corey Mello, tell us a little bit about yourself, kind of what you're doing now. Your full-time job is actually pretty interesting. And I know that you did Anime Boston 2018 for a hobby shop booth. We're going to get into that in a minute, but start by just giving us a little quick bio. I'm going to go plug in that flash drive so we have the emergency backup, and I'm going to give the floor to you. I'm listening,
right.
I promise.
Job and everything, huh? The whole 9 yards?
Do it up. That's what we do. That's the format, baby. That's
All
the
right.
ESP format.
Okay.
Do it up.
Yeah, my name is Corey Mello. I am an IT coordinator for a special education collaborative. I pretty much do everything that needs doing because you can't expect teachers to worry too much about computers or anything else. So
How long have you been doing that for again?
I have been doing this for a little over 5 years, I think. I started in special education. I've been in special education for 10 years now, and partway
That's a
through,
long time.
yeah,
That's pretty
it is.
admirable.
It's
a very admirable field to
yes, and yeah, about halfway through, they didn't have anybody for IT, so computers, break and stuff, and I slid into that.
be in. So it just kind of fell into your lap then?
More
The
or
IT
less.
position?
Yeah,
Very cool, very cool.
things worked out.
So tell us a little bit about the booth that you were working at for Anime Boston 2018, which was an awesome con, by the way.
It was.
I've been going a lot more recently. Officially, I've been going every year since last year. I want to make this a yearly thing. Every year I have my own squad for Anime Boston. So how did you get hooked up with the booth? But first of all, start by telling us the name of the hobby shop that you were associated with, and then go into what it was kind of like working at Anime Boston.
Okay, so it's the Armory War Games and Hobbies. They are in Fairhaven, new location. They were previously in New Bedford. I've been playing there for a couple of years now, probably going on 3, like 2.5. And yeah, really great shop, really good people, and it's a lot of fun. And pretty much their Warhammer person. I'm their 40K guy. The joke around the place is I actually run the store because everyone always asks me the questions, and heck with, asking the people who actually run the place anything. So
you're kind of like the designated floor manager.
Yes, on certain days, pretty much. Yeah,
Awesome.
I set up the leagues and events and post stuff on their page when things are coming out and everything else.
So tell us the name of the hobby shop one more time.
It is the Armory War Games and Hobbies in Fairhaven.
Okay. And people can find that using Google if they want to get the exact address and go check it out.
Yes, and we have a really big Facebook group, so I
Awesome.
would definitely say look on Facebook if you're at all interested. We have a really good community, and you can pretty much see everything that's generally going on there any particular day from there.
Do you have any other social media accounts for the Armory?
Nope,
Mostly Facebook?
just Facebook.
So what kind of events do you have going on at the Armory?
Well, it just
We'll
so
start
happens that at the end of this month, we have an open game demo. So a demo day, I should say. So pretty much
For all the board games and tabletops?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
There's going to be a bunch of the different Star Wars games. No Armada, but probably X-Wing Legion, which just recently came out, which is really big. The standard stuff like Magic, a couple of the other card games and the like. And then the whole suite of Warhammer stuff. Age of Sigmar, Shadespire.
Sons of Sigma!
And, of course, 40K. So
Did you
should be a lot of
play
fun.
the Warhammer, not the 40K one, but the Warhammer strategy game for PC that came out around 2007?
Is it like a
Winter,
Total War?
spring 2007.
I did not. I actually got into. This is going way the heck back because Eryn and I have known each other for a very long time.
A long time.
Going back to high school, it was Dawn of War actually that first got
Love
me
Dawn of
into.
War.
Yeah.
That was 2005, 2006.
Yep. And I.
Paul used to play that all the time.
Yes.
I think he was the first one to get it.
He
our friend
was, and then we all got pulled
swept
into
up,
it.
and then I
Yes.
got this tattoo. Oh, I don't know if you can see it, but my hair is always in the way now.
Oh, the Aquila and everything.
Yes, the Imperial
Nice.
Aquila
I played Tau then,
for
and
the
I
Empire
knew
matches.
nothing about 40K in general, and
Mhm.
then I came back to it and I was like, oh wow, look at these dudes that I thought were really cool to play, even though I sucked at Dawn of War. And fortunately, I'm much better at the actual tabletop than I was in Dawn of War.
So perfect seg. We're going to start with Warhammer now. So do you play both Warhammer and Warhammer 40K?
I do. I play Age of
Okay.
Sigmar and 40K. It's Age of Sigmar now. It used to be Warhammer Fantasy. They changed it to Age of Sigmar. It's a big, brand new, fancy thing.
So Age of Sigmar used to be
Warhammer Fantasy,
okay.
or just Warhammer.
Just okay. That's I
Yeah,
think that's where I was
Warhammer,
getting
Warhammer
confused.
Fantasy, Warhammer Fantasy
I
Battle.
have a
it's got
Warhammer art book from the original Warhammer somewhere.
Wow, that's cool.
Uh,
But
It's
yeah.
it's like the Imperial, like that version of the,
Oh, yep.
and it's most of
Empire.
the yes, that version of
Yep.
the Empire. So
Yes.
real quick sidebar, I heard somewhere, I don't know where to verify this, so don't ask me because I don't know, but someone told me once that the reason that the Warhammer universe exists is not that the Warhammer regular universe, also known as Warhammer what?
Age of Sigmar.
Yes.
Okay.
Also known now as Warhammer Age of Sigmar, that the reason that even exists, it does not exist as a prequel or as the past to Warhammer 40K, but instead Sigmar was one of the, what's the word for the Sons of the Emperor that he sent scattered across?
Oh, one of the Primarchs.
One of the Primarchs.
Yep.
Is that Sigmar is a Primarch. Can you confirm or deny that?
I cannot confirm or deny that,
Ah.
and Games Workshop certainly never would. Another really funny
Isn't that an awesome theory though?
that's
my favorite fan theory.
There's
that-
another really funny theory that GW actually played with a little bit, that the Warhammer Fantasy universe is actually just within the 40K one, not necessarily that Sigmar is a Primarch, although it still fits in, but
makes sense if,
Yeah.
if Sigmar was a Primarch.
but the idea that it's actually just like a place within the 40K universe, it's just a planet, and
Yes.
and everything going on is just, because they still have the
That
same
was
exact
the
chaos
other part of what I heard.
demons and
Yeah.
everything else. Yeah,
The
and
orcs.
they played with it once, where I think during one of the lead-ups to Age of Sigmar, because Age of Sigmar was a big change. They actually had like a big like end of the world like Ragnarok style event and everything else to lead into Age of Sigmar. And during
awesome.
one of those, there was a particular race. It might have been the Skinks or something. I don't know, but they tried to communicate with like these extra dimensional things, and they don't really say, but they almost kind of tease that it's the Eldar for 40K that they talk to.
Yes.
And but it's
Eldar
totally just
return.
like
I
glossed,
love the
and they
Eldar.
just play with it,
Space
and that's the end of
elves?
it. Yes, the space elves.
There has been so much amazing fan art done for the leaders of the Eldar are Exarchs, right? Farseers.
Farseers, yes.
The Farseer from the 40K series, the Farseer Taldir.
From Dawn of War. Yep.
Yes. Sorry, from Dawn of War.
Dawn of War, yeah.
Farseer Taldir. There's so much amazing fan art. I love her. Eventually, when I get good with EVA foam, because I'm doing that for the first time this year, unless I decide to just buy a suit of armor
Yeah.
for my Urza Scarlet cosplay, which I just but then I also want to do the Eldar Farseer at some point, like
Yep.
later in my career. So EVA foam, I think we're gonna have to get into that sooner than later, so I can start plugging away at that. I assume it's going to take me forever to actually get good with it.
The
But
helmet seems scary. Although if you don't
Yeah.
go with the helmet, then you just dodge that bullet.
I don't. Well,
But-
see, in video games, I don't wear the helmets anyway because I'm a girl and I like to show off my my hair. And my favorite art for Farseer Taldir is the artwork with her without her helmet.
Yeah,
as,
obviously if she has the
like
helmet
a
on.
sexy, sassy space elf.
Yeah, if she has the helmet on, she looks like any other Farseer. Who cares?
So that's really cool that exactly. So that's really cool that Farseer Taldir, or that the Eldar in general, sort of make a mysterious appearance in the Warhammer universe.
They do a lot of little teases like that.
The
It's
other
pretty
thing
fun.
I heard, so that same person also hinted, I literally can't remember who it was. I'm not just saying that, but that same person also said that the reason that they've been stuck in sort of a time loop is not because of them trying to retcon or anything like that, or just because it was a plot hole.
Yep.
But that the reason that they're technologically behind is that there's a chaos field surrounding, well, either a chaos field or a high gravitational field that surrounds the planet, and it creates a high electromagnetic presence or electricity in the air. I don't know exactly the scientific word I'm looking for because I'm not a physicist or a scientist, but something to do with
electromagnetic radiation.
Yeah, something like that. Electromagnetic fields, electromagnetic radiations, gravitational poles, all those things come into effect, according to this theory, to make it so that technology actually doesn't work on this planet. And that obviously Sigmar crash landed there and got stuck in this as a Primarch, and got stuck in this sort of this loop. But other races, like you said, like the Eldar that are super or the most technologically advanced can come into the planet and find ways around these fields. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's there's, like I said, there's a lot of little teases, and GW is very good at like being this could totally happen. Really?
Yeah. Now that I have much more life experience, it might be easier to actually go and get in that job. So I'm gonna have to call Games Workshop and follow up. But like, hey, do you still have my resume from like 10 years ago?
Because it's gotten much better.
You let me update that for you. Let me tell you something. No, so that was the Games Workshop in Cambridge.
Oh, okay.
Which is one of the main hubs. They offered me a position, and technically at that time they were like, "Hey, if you ever change your mind and want to come back, let us know," because I was working on the ambulance at that time. So I might just call them up and be like, "Hey,
remember that time when someone who doesn't work here anymore said this thing?
You told me that I could come back and get this job anytime I wanted." So any other wacky theories from Warhammer
wacky theories
from the Sigmar universe?
From the Sigmar, I don't.
Not the universe, because I believe it's the same universe. So from the Sigmar expansion arc, whatever you want to call it,
just the game.
The Sigmar sidebar. How about that? The Sigmar sidebar.
Not really. It's actually kind of crazy because for the longest time, with 40K and with Warhammer Fantasy and everything else, it was always like that was the big joke, like you said, with like retcons and time loops and everything else. It's like nothing actually happened.
Plot holes.
Yeah, and then
it's such a big universe.
Yeah,
I love the original codex though, the one that's like the same thickness as a D&D 5e or just a D&D player's guide. Do you remember that one?
They still have
the one
those
with the artwork. Oh,
yeah, every
the main
edition,
codex.
They're on 8th. Well, for 40K, they're on 8th edition now, and
the artwork alone for 40K and Warhammer in general is just absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it's so crazy to think that so many people get into it just from the artwork or the lore or the stories
or
the games. Yeah. We actually had somebody not even a month ago come into the store on a Monday, and he had a full-blown Chaos Space Marine outfit.
Oh, that's awesome.
And like it even had lifts, so he was actually like taller, because he was not a tall guy, but he was a full-blown Space Marine.
I wish I knew her name, but it's all over social media right now. It's a girl who's a professional cosplayer. I think she's in Germany, and she did a full Space Marine, but the angelic suit. What's that from?
Oh, like the Sisters of Battle?
No. It wasn't the Sisters of Battle.
Oh,
it was the Space Marine suit, but it was golden, and it had these angelic spikes
on the back.
Yeah, these angelic spikes
like a blood
that
angel,
doubled
probably.
as wings. I don't know, because the whole suit was pure gold.
That would be a sanguinary guard.
That's exactly what it was.
There we go.
That's exactly what it was. Because I remember seeing that in the comments now. Somebody said, "Ooh, awesome sanguinary guard."
Yep.
Super cool.
But yeah, so this guy came in, and we were talking to him and stuff like that, and at the end, he was
just what's up? Just a Chaos Space Marine. Did he have face paint on too?
Oh, he had a helmet on. He was fully decked. He had his bolter, everything.
Again, I like the off helmets, and like, I think that would be cool if they did like the scarring makeup.
So at the end he asked, he was like, "Oh, sometime can I come in and you guys can teach me how to play?" And we're like, you don't know how to play? Like, you made a full, like, he made his own.
That's how good the
outfit.
Artwork is.
Yeah, he's just like, "Oh yeah, I'm just into the lore and I've read the stories and stuff like that." And I just was inspired to completely make my own Chaos Space Marine outfit.
So what race do you play in Warhammer Sigmar?
In Sigmar, I play Sylvaneth, which are the tree people. I'm like the Lorax.
I'm actually not familiar with the Sylvaneth from the original Warhammer, or from Warhammer Sigmar.
So
fill me in.
Okay, so the one big character who, she was kind of like the main goddess for the elves and everything else, was Alariel.
Okay.
And when the whole big Age of Sigmar thing happened, I think they just call it the End Times. After the End Times happened, everything reset, and Sigmar's a god now. And
that's
all that
the Ragnarok event that you told me
about.
Right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
The big villain Archeon actually succeeds, and everything gets blown to hell.
Everything gets destroyed.
Yeah, and they have to start over. So
like Final Fantasy VI.
Yes, except Chaos doesn't care. They're always just doing Chaos things.
Mhm.
But yeah, so Alarielle is this nature goddess, and she before in the old Warhammer Fantasy, to my knowledge, to my understanding, they were like the tree based units.
Okay.
That wasn't like Sylvaneth wasn't like a full force. They were just like, oh, they would go with wood elves and stuff like that.
Right. Okay.
And now like in Sigmar, it's a,
Now they're
it's a
their own
full-blown
faction?
army.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yep. So it's all a bunch of trees. And Alarielle, who rides on a gigantic
The
stag
Ents.
beetle. Yes, yeah, they have Ents. They have like 3 flavors
For
of
our
Ents.
room.
They have magical Ents and regular Ents and really
Little
mad Ents.
orcs. is a mainstream reference for you if I've ever heard one. So 40K, obviously I have the 40K tattoo. What
Yep.
really got me into Warhammer in general was, I think right before the video game came out, when the first trailer was released, that was when Paul started buying up the Ultramarines.
Yes.
The base Ultramarine set.
Yep. I
And-
still remember he had like that big metal dreadnought.
Yes, the dreadnoughts. And then I think we all started buying, but it was at that time we were like still in high school or
Yep.
fresh out of high school,
Mhm.
and none of us had the money or the time to devote to Warhammer 40K. So I bought a group of Catachans with a sniper unit and a Chimera.
Mhm.
And I had this little group of Catachans that I still have them, and I did all the custom paint myself. The Chimera tank is sitting on one of my shelves in my room, just kind of sitting there because I'm so proud of it. And I have to dig up my actual Catachan Jungle Fighters themselves.
Great,
But
because those 2 models probably have not changed.
yes,
Probably the same exact ones. That
although
they
I
sold
have
then.
not painted my Sniper Squadron because
Mhm.
they are the steel, or I don't think that nobody makes pewter anymore, right?
Oh no, like
Or do they?
the metal
Yeah.
ones, yeah, they're like pewter.
Or
Yep.
yeah, whatever they are.
Yeah.
But they're just so difficult to paint.
Yeah,
I think the plastic figures are much easier to paint.
they are. It's glue that really gets me. Those metal models are so hard to glue. You have
Oh,
to super glue them.
yeah.
Like plastic models, you just plastic glue them and
It's
it
easy.
melts and it's done.
I was a beginner and I became an expert with plastic models in like a month.
Yeah,
It's awesome.
much easier.
So what race do you play in 40K?
I play a few because I got.
Okay, good.
I'm
'Cause this-
I'm deep.
40K is just so, there's so much going on. You don't want to limit yourself to, although I have the Imperial Aquila, so I have to play Imperial Guard, extensions of Imperial Guard,
Mhm.
Space Marines. But why would you want to play any other race? I mean,
Well, I play the Tau.
Heretic,
I play, and I'm a filthy Xeno, but I'm no heretic. I play the
Burn
Tau.
and Righteous Fire, Xenophil.
My primary army is the Tau. So Tauva.
I want to do an
everybody.
Inquisitor cosplay, a
For the-
sexy Inquisitor cosplay.
You know, there was some people at Anime Boston. There was one guy at Anime Boston who thought I was an Inquisitor.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I could technically see that, but
Yeah, I
you
had
were.
the wide brim hat and
Tell
everything.
everyone what you were.
I was a
Hunter.
hunter. I was seeking the old blood from Bloodborne. It's a lot of
Still
fun.
haven't played that game, but I know about the lore. So I did play. So okay, here's the thing. Sidebar. Then we're gonna go back into tabletops. But Neo, which is the Japanese version of the Souls/Bloodborne games. Oh my god, one of the best games I've ever played in my entire life. Although I have not /rage quit so in a game so many times and been on the verge of complete mental collapse as I was with Neo. And let me tell you, if you just do a quick YouTube search for gamers and streamers who played Neo, and my personal favorite, Zinfreude from 8bytes. If you look at her YouTube channel, she has some pretty great /rage moments, like candid rage moments where she's playing the game and she just kind of just absolutely loses it. And there were even a couple of videos that I found about pretty hardcore gamers that, especially for the Maria fight in particular, where there was a lot of commentary towards the end, and they were like, it's at the point where the challenge isn't even fun. Like the
Yeah.
people that like the difficulty, they said that Neo was too much. Like it was just too much. So like they said the Souls and Bloodborne had a good balance, but the Japanese version of the Souls games, which was Neo, was rather than kind of slow, methodical, okay, I'm sweating and I'm biting my lip, but we're still going, that tension is still there, and then you still have the rage quit at the end. It's like that, but speeded up times 1,000,000.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like the most extreme difficulty on DDR.
Yeah, because that's the whole thing with the Souls game. Is it's supposed to be the challenge beats you down, and then
Right.
it's about feeling that joy of success of overcoming an
Yeah.
obstacle.
but Neo might have been just
much.
a little bit much. Did you play it?
I did not play Neo yet.
Ooh, it's really good.
I have all the Souls games under my belt, and I play Bloodborne, obviously,
Yes,
since I was a hunter.
the hunter.
But I
I
have
fired
not
up
played
Neo
Neo.
not too long ago, and it's just to kind of check back in, and
Mhm.
they give you a codex, a history codex, and it has pages upon pages and pages of actual factual Japanese history that you can log on to Neo, and depending on how much of the game you've completed, you can do a whole crash course in
Ninjutsu.
medieval Japanese history towards the end of Sengoku Jidai during the three unifiers,
Mhm.
specifically Tokugawa Ieyasu. You as William, who eventually becomes Anjin, which
Yeah.
is funny because they say Hattori Hanzo, the second or third, comes over to you and he says, William, nobody can pronounce your name. So Hattori Hanzo comes over to you and he says, yeah, we're just going to call you Anjin. He doesn't even give you a choice. He just says, we like you, but we can't
This
say
is
your
your
name.
name now.
Your name is now Anjin. And then everyone just goes, oh, Anjin. In the typical sort of anime gaming style flair.
Yeah.
Anjin. So that's my Neo sidebar. Definitely check it out. They have 3 DLCs. I think you can get all of them for $10. Because it's one of those games where they're not going to nickel and dime you. We're not going to get into Destiny 2. We're not going to get into Battlefront 2 in this podcast. We've already done that before. We can rant on that
Another time.
in another time. Where did this sidebar... We were talking about 40K. Something about
We
40K.
were. Because we talked about Inquisitors, and I talked about my outfit.
Inquisitors, that's right. The
And Anime
Bloodborne
Boston.
outfit. So, what races do you play for Warhammer
Okay,
40K?
so I play the Tau. Specifically, I play the Farside Enclaves because...
Did you play the video game, the Fire
Warrior?
Warrior?
Yes, I did.
It was okay.
It was okay for the time.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to go back and play it now.
Oh, yeah.
Just like going back and playing like GoldenEye or something. You're like, oh, this is so fun, and this
Sacred-
control is horrible.
Well, now we're getting into the whole sacred cow thing. So let's just move on.
This is gaming, right? We can cover all
Yes,
bases.
we can cover everything, but there's
But-
just the sacred cow discussion can last like 3 hours, especially when
Fair.
people start talking about GoldenEye. So
Fair enough. Okay, so Farside Enclaves for the Tau.
okay.
I play I do have a couple of Imperial factions. I play the
Very
Adeptus
nice.
Custodes, which recently came out. The Golden Boys, who
the
are...
Adeptus Custodes.
Yes, they are the
Tell
guys
us
that
about
are
them.
better than the Space Marines. They are the Emperor's finest, made from the Emperor's DNA himself.
Oh, okay.
For many, many millennia.
What's the name of the Space Marine faction again?
The Adeptus Astartes.
No, the
Adeptus
particular ones.
Custodes.
So they're the Adeptus what?
Custodes.
Custodes. So they're above the Astartes.
They are. Completely.
So they're not even a Space Marine division.
No. They work for themselves. They have nothing to do with anything with the Astartes. So they are the
So they're like the
personal
Navy
guard of the
SEALs.
Emperor way back
Okay.
during the Grand Crusade, and even
Wow.
like during the Horus Heresy. When the Emperor went out and did stuff, he did it with the Custodes. And
I may have.
so for the longest time after everything happened during the Horus Heresy, the Custodians stayed in the Imperial Palace, and that was it. They just stayed there. They
On the
they
sacred
guarded
throne of
the
Terra.
Emperor. Yep, they guarded the Golden Throne, and that was it. But last year,
Sacred to me as an Imperial player. I don't
last
care
year,
what you Chaos Filth say.
at the end of 7th edition, GW did the unspeakable and actually progressed the storyline. And because
For
of that,
once,
and
applause for Games Workshop.
you're
Thank
out
you.
of the loop. See,
I am out
we're,
of the loop.
we're talking about
This
stuff.
is why we're talking about this. So you can
Robert
catch me up.
Guilliman has returned.
Who is it?
The Primarch of the Ultramarines has returned to the Imperium.
Okay.
He was brought back from near death by the Eldar.
I like having you here because you're going to fill me in on 6
Yes.
years of lore that I totally missed out on for Warhammer.
So the Eldar assisted the Adeptus Mechanicus in reviving Robert Guilliman, who was thought dead and kept in stasis, Lenin style,
Oh, no.
by Fulgrim, his brother. So he's been brought back, and as a Primarch, he is now the Grand Commander of the Imperial Army. He's the boss. And
cool.
one
Like
of the
that.
things he did at the end of that storyline is he... Oh, did you know Cadia? The Imperial Guard, the Cadians
Yes,
and everything?
yeah.
Yeah, that blew up. Chaos blew it up. So just fill you in on that
The
one, too.
whole planet?
The whole planet. Boom.
No!
Yep. Yeah.
I love the Cadians.
Yeah, well, there's a few of them still around, but
How
the
do
planet is gone. They blew up the planet. Chaos won. To an extent, they pushed through. There's now a giant warp storm that has broken through the entire galaxy, has split in half. The other side is called the Imperial Nihilus or something like that, like, you know, Dark Imperium.
Holy
sort
crap!
of thing.
You're like blowing my mind with this
It's a
new
lot of
lore
change.
update.
It's a lot of stuff. Like 100 to 200 years have passed between 7th and 8th edition. There's been a big time jump. They're not joking around.
Did they officially retcon and connect Dawn of War 2 to the tabletop series?
They're still
'Cause
very.
I never finished Dawn of War 2.
They're still
but
very.
Is that still technically an offshoot? To
Essentially,
Dawn of War
it's
games?
weird because on one hand they don't act like
They were
anything from
trying
Dawn
to
of War is
connect it
official,
for a
but
little bit.
there is actually a Gabriel Angelos model now, and you can play him
Okay.
as the chapter master of the Blood Ravens.
Oh, cool.
So if you
Okay.
wanted to play the Blood Ravens, you have a chapter master to play, and he has his own stat line and everything else.
Is
So
he,
it's
is
like
he the only one that was retconned into the actual tabletop?
no, I mean the Blood Ravens are there in general.
Okay.
They tease things here and there. A lot of things are teasers. It's all designed so like if you want to do it, you can do it. It works if you want it to work, and no one's probably going to question you as long as it's not, you know, a bunch of My Little Pony Marines or something, which people still do anyway.
Yeah.
But
Custom paint.
yes, of course.
So I want to take this opportunity to actually segue into the Star Wars tabletops that we talked about before, because it's about 5:30. We've been talking about Warhammer for a long time.
Yeah.
Which is not a problem, because I love Warhammer, and I obviously have the Imperial Aquila tattooed on my shoulder for anyone that just came in. But I want to get to the other tabletops.
Okay.
So you said that there were 3 Star Wars tabletops. The only one that I know of is Star Wars Armada.
Okay.
And that's one of the figures you said, right? Because every hobby shop that I go into, they're either playing Star Wars Armada or it's everywhere. And it seems to be like the most popular one.
If you see
on
like the
social media
fighter
posting
craft,
about it.
the fighter craft are typically X-wing.
Yes.
So if you see like X-wings and TIEs and the Millennium Falcon stuff like that, that's X-wing.
Okay.
If you see the bigger ships played on a bigger table,
Okay.
that's Armada. I'm
Okay.
trying to make sure I got it right.
I mean, it seems really cool because the figures come pre-made, pre-painted, correct?
Yes, they do.
Which is a relief because Games Workshop's like, no, you got to do this yourself. It's part of the experience, and I get that. But I like the idea of having the actual figures as representatives of. Now, are those other figures representative of larger numbers? Like
No, they are just single.
Oh,
like
okay.
X-wing is a dogfighting tabletop.
Ooh, so they do squeeze more money out of you to get more.
Yeah,
More models.
for the most
Okay.
part. But it's not too bad a system. Fantasy Flight's done a pretty good job with it. So, and they did just put out Legion, which is almost like their not really 40K but skirmish sort of thing with unpainted models that you have to paint.
Okay.
But it's more to the
And
scale.
that is a standalone tabletop.
Yep, it's a standalone. It's a
It's
separate
called Legion.
Legion.
Oh, I
Yep.
like that.
Yeah, it's the thing I keep on noticing whenever I see it, whenever they play, and they play on Wednesdays at the Armory War Games and Hobbies.
Armory War Games and Hobbies, Fairhaven, Massachusetts. Come and say hello to Corey.
So
I actually, and that's Wednesdays.
that's Wednesday's a Star Wars night. Yeah, Monday is 40K night.
If I can get this new
Wednesdays.
job, I might come check that out.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
high hopes.
High
I
hopes.
might take the pay cut just to go play Star Wars Armada on Wednesday
with
Wednesday
all of
nights.
your newfound vacation time.
Yeah. Anyway, so Armada, X-wing,
And
and
Legion.
Legion.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you what tabletops or board games I have. Well, first of all, another quick sidebar. Are you familiar with Board James on YouTube?
I am not.
Okay, so check him out. So Board James is a YouTube personality who has a whole channel devoted to retro gaming and board games. So for actual board games and tabletops that I have, the thing that I'm most proud of, and I'm trying to get people together that want to do this for the next convention I'm going to, which is AAC, and maybe for Anime Boston. I want to talk about old school board games here for a second. So it's a Milton Bradley game, I believe. Ready for this? Weapons and Warriors.
I got nothing.
Do you remember Weapons and Warriors? I believe it's Milton Bradley.
Mm-hmm.
Weapons and Warriors was a tabletop board game that basically stretched probably the length of this entire table, if not more. Definitely more. So probably about from the center of that computer, which, if you can't see it, I'm sorry. The center of that computer to probably the end of that table. It is absolutely
She's describing about 4
huge.
feet in length.
Yeah, okay. About yay much in length. So it's about 4 feet or so in length. there is an attacking team, which is the red team. They set up siege equipment. So they set up siege barricades, mobile siege barricades. They set up battlements. They set up trenches. And these are all represented by these pretty detailed like plastic figures. And then the red figures themselves are not painted. Some people, I've seen them painted before, but they're just red and blue. So it's red versus blue. But the red team is the attacking team of the figure. So you have this attacking siege battalion, and then you have a forest, an actual forest in the middle that you set up with the trees. And there's this, it's about that big.
Yep.
And you have to, if you want to get better shots at the castle or have actual cover to prevent your guys from getting hit, you can actually sort of strategically position them in the forest. And then on the other end of the table, obviously, is the castle. Now, all of the siege towers and the siege equipment and the castle itself are all wired with elastics and different pressure points. And you have 2 or 3 catapults, a cannon, and a ballista. And these weapons actually fire little orange projectiles pretty damn hard. So, and I mean, especially the cannon, you can really like if you shot somebody in the face with that cannon, like they would probably, especially like you could definitely hurt somebody if you shot them in the eye with that, or if you shot them in the forehead, like it can probably hurt. So then when you attack if you actually land a hit at one of the pressure points, these pieces that you assemble will literally come flying off in an explosion and scatter. So if you hit parts of the castle, battle damage will actually fly off the castle, and you can knock down the gate if you hit a certain pressure point, and the gate will open, and then you can try and open the wooden double doors where the commander is stationed, and certain guards that are positioned on battlements will come flying off if you knock the window in with the catapult or the cannon.
Do you aim them? Or
yeah, you actually physically
kind of like finagle. Okay.
But you can only have them, they can only be parallel to the circular spaces that your army can move. So you roll the dice, and that's how many spaces you can move forward if you want. But those dice also constitute the amount of moves, or the amount of actions, I should say, kind of like 5e, the amount of actions that you can take in one turn. So you can move your men, but once you move your army, your siege equipment can follow behind them, but it has to be a parallel line. So you can move up the siege equipment. But then you're also closer to the enemy's fire. And basically, if a character is knocked down, he's considered KIA.
That's cool.
So it's actually a lot of skill required to play this game.
I just like the idea that clearly when they were designing this game, they were like, all right, how far does the average elastic band go? We have to make a table, like we have to make our board that long to accommodate.
Right.
It's 4 feet long because that's how elastic bands work.
It's pretty awesome. Yeah, I played it not too long ago just to see if it stood the test of time, and it does. Let me tell you, it does. It is so much fun. And then I also have, so that's Weapons and Warriors. I also just picked up Risk Medieval Europe Edition, which has a completely new expanded set of rules and figures. There's 2 additional units to the standard cannon, cavalry, and infantrymen that you would see in the regular Risk. So we have 2 additional units, and it integrated some real history as well. So that's pretty cool. And then I also have Axis and Allies. So the thing about Axis and Allies is that if you want to play Axis and Allies, it's like an all-day event. Like, you have to get people that are committed to playing Axis and Allies for at least 12 hours, probably more. You might have to come back on a Sunday if you're doing this on a Saturday. And I mean, everyone basically just kind of fights over who's going to be Germany or Japan. But oh my god, so I finally got people together for a game night to play Axis and Allies, and I think we finished the first round. And everyone took one turn.
Yeah, first complete round. And
by the time we finished the first round of Axis and Allies, like almost 3 hours had passed.
Wow.
And everybody was like, but that also included an hour of setup time.
And probably explaining some stuff to people and everything else. Yeah.
So about 3 hours, and we're like, wow, we only just did one turn.
Yeah, they actually have gaming tables now. I don't know if you've seen them, but they actually have the actual gameplay area can be dropped, and then you can cover it, so you can maintain your game space. Your game state can be perfectly the same.
I need that.
Yeah, there's a few different companies that are putting them out. I know Wormwood is doing one right now. It matters. Like I said, Wormwood.
Okay.
If anybody doesn't know, Wormwood's like local company that does a lot of woodworking, gaming stuff. They're putting out one now. It's pricey because that's Wormwood's model. But it is beautiful. That's the trade-off you get.
I definitely need to get one of those.
There's another one that's going right now. Its Kickstarter went really well, and I think it starts fulfilling orders in August. It's called the Table of Ultimate Gaming, and it's much more. I mean, you're still paying the cost for a table, but like a 3x5 costs like, I want to say it's like $700, and they have payment plans and everything else. But they're really cool, and yeah, they have panels that can be laid over
That
the
is
table,
super cool. I
and
love
the
that.
actual gameplay area gets dropped down, so you can preserve your game state.
I need that. So
Yeah.
another tabletop, one of the board game that I have, board game / tabletop, is Civil War. Have you played it?
I have not.
Okay, so do you have it at your shop?
I don't know.
Okay,
It's a great
so,
thing to
no,
check.
sorry, Battle Cry. Battle Cry.
She's making this difficult for me.
So it's called Battle Cry, and it takes place during the American Civil War. Okay, so for anyone listening, this is really important. If you love gaming, love tabletops, love board games, and you want to play a tabletop that you can actually get people into 100% of the time, all the time, like your like stereotypical bro dude, or basic woman. Because I'm kind of basic sometimes, but not with gaming. Not with gaming. Sometimes with pumpkin spice in the fall. But right. So if you have a dude bro, or like some basic chick, whatever, and you're like, wow, I'm like such a nerd, like I am. I really want to get my friends and family to play a board game. Battle Cry, Civil War. Again, 100% of the times I've tried this, I've gotten people into it and excited. What average American bro or basic is not at least a little bit interested in the Civil War? Oh, it's the American Civil War. Look, they have the cannons and cavalry and Union and Confederates. And if you have certain parts of the country, it can cause some pretty heated political debates. Whatever. That's neither here nor there. Take it for what it is with the history. So it's super easy to pick up. You can do one whole match for Battle Cry Civil War in half an hour. You can finish an entire map in half an hour. So basically they have tiles, kind of like your standard gaming tiles, and the tiles can be rearranged to create different maps.
Mm-hmm.
But it's pretty in-depth, and every map looks uniquely different because there's a lot of detail in these tiles. And again, it's plug and play. Anybody can just jump in. Very simple, but also so much fun. Super quick to run through an entire, and usually if you're bringing it to like a family party, so far I've been successful with being able to get 2 whole maps done, and people might join in after because they see other people having fun. And it almost accurately recreates, and there's also, so not only that, but there's scenarios. There's actual historical Civil War scenarios.
That's cool. They kind of have to be. You kind of have to,
and
right?
they make them right. So if in this particular scenario, the Union Army had a disadvantage, you will start the map with a literal disadvantage in your position or your figures or your statuettes, if you want to call it. And the actual terrain models the historical maps. The detail that went into creating these campaigns is like nothing I've ever seen. And then my favorite tabletop that I have out of all of them is, you have to say it with gusto, Ikusa! Not to be confused with the expletive, but Ikusa. So Ikusa. So war. And it is the updated version of Shogun, which takes place, so it's basically a Sengoku Jidai tabletop. So if you're big in Japanese history, if you're big in military history, if you're big in specifically the Sengoku Jidai, get this game. Out of all the ones that I have, it is by far the best one that I played. So now you get to tell me what tabletops you love and what you have, because that was my rant.
I love it. So as we were talking about just before we started up, Hero Quest, and specifically now Warhammer
Real quick,
Quest.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I'm so excited about this Hero Quest, because Hero Quest was the one thing that got me into nerd anything when I was little. So Board James, who I mentioned before, also has a Hero Quest episode, which is really funny. So go check that out. I highly recommend it. So Hero Quest was like the game I like lost all my pieces over the years. I tried to get one on eBay when I discovered what eBay was, when I actually started getting money as an adolescent and was spending it on frivolous nerd things like the rest of us do. I was like, let's try to find Hero Quest. What, $1,000 like 5 years ago?
You know, it's another game that another tabletop game that is like super expensive on eBay, and they actually just kickstarted doing a new one. Fireball Island.
Yeah,
it's like
Board
so,
Games has that one too.
Yeah, it's. I mean, it's cool, but I mean, it's
cool.
so expensive.
Are
to
they
get
making
like
a new
the
Fireball
old
Island
copies.
with a Kickstarter?
Yes.
Kickstarter's going well.
It's done. It's successful. Like it's coming. Yeah. So
okay, so Hero Quest. Take it away. I'm super excited. My childhood is coming back.
Yeah, so where
Hero
was
Quest.
I?
Hero
Oh, yeah,
Quest.
Hero Quest.
We're going to gush over Hero Quest.
Yes. Specifically because of my, very recent foray into Warhammer. Games Workshop recently remade Hero Quest as Warhammer Quest. Pretty much the same exact system, same exact sort of idea, just Age of Sigmar style. So that's my super big focus right now. I want to start getting groups together to play it because there's
Count me in.
Because the
I'm
nice
in.
thing about
Pick a day.
have it Thursdays. It'll be Thursdays
Perfect.
when it's ready to go. I have to keep on painting though, because that's the whole thing. Is that it's Hero Quest. Only you have all the options of like the Warhammer miniatures to play as, and they all have different profiles and stat lines and everything else.
What time Thursday?
I will get back to you on that because we're not ready yet, but soon.
Okay.
Soon.
Might not be able to do it if it's like before 9. If it's like okay, so I'm probably not gonna be able to do it. Sundays, Saturday. Okay.
Don't worry, we can figure something out.
Oh.
It's fine. It's fine.
I might have to set up a second
We'll figure something out.
tabletop day on Sundays, Saturdays or Sundays.
Yeah, we'll make it work no matter what.
Okay, so it's Hero Quest but remade for Warhammer.
Yes. And
So-
they call it Warhammer Quest.
Okay, so in the original Hero Quest, the main villain was that huge gargoyle looking MF, right?
Yes.
Okay, so this is obviously a chaos demon.
Yes. There's
Ooh.
2 different games.
I'm sweating over
They've
here.
already done like 2 versions of it. The first one is called Silver Tower, which is fun because it's all Tzeentch. If you know anything about Warhammer, Tzeentch is the god of. He is the most
Tzeentch.
chaotic god of chaos. He is the god of change. So the game is very
and then
random.
there's Nurgle, right? The
Yes,
god of
he is.
pestilence.
Yep, pestilence and decay. Khorne, the blood god. The people that the meme that everyone knows, even if they don't know Warhammer. Everyone knows blood for the blood god, skulls for the skull throne. And then there is Slaanesh.
Heretics.
Slaanesh is the one that, you
The
can't talk about.
The Whispers of Slaanesh.
She who thirsts.
Yes.
The prince of pleasure.
So who is the Demigorgon? Demigorgons. So who is the new big bad in this again?
So
Or were you getting to that?
yes,
I'm sorry.
in Silver Tower, it is the Gaunt Summoner, who is this avatar of Tzeentch, effectively.
Okay.
Who's controlling the tower and you're trying to overcome. And then the other one, Shadows over Hammerhall, which is almost played kind of like a traditional D&D campaign. Actually even has a game master, which is interesting. It's like, yeah, it's pretty fun.
Well, technically, the original Hero Quest did have a D&D style GM.
Did it?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Remember, there were
okay,
character
so it's
sheets.
Silver Tower. Okay, yeah, so that's the
Yeah.
one that has it, and Silver Tower is the
And
one.
then
that,
everyone ran
discards
out
the
of
GM.
character sheets, and then they stopped making Hero Quests.
then you
they're
just
like, well, what
stop.
the heck are we gonna do now? And they
So-
were like, oh, sorry, sucks to be you guys.
Yeah. So the villain in Shadow over Hammerhall is
Mm-hmm.
a Slaaneshi chaos sorcerer who's trying to like
Okay.
do some crazy stuff underneath the
This
city.
is so exciting.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. And then there's the usual stuff. Does tabletop focus in like pen and paper stuff? I do lots of pen and paper stuff.
I'm doing an online D&D 5e regular standard Horde of the Dragon Queen right now.
Mm-hmm.
Although I'm trying, it's funny because my DM had to take it down a notch with me because I get really, so if you're into the YouTube channel, they do something roll.
Critical Role?
Critical Role. Yeah. Critical Role did a skit, and they did the types of characters you will meet in D&D. So go watch that video because I'm a combination of, so there's a few different women, but I'm a combination of the woman who, there's one point in the video where she says, seriously, nobody's coming to my rescue because I didn't verbalize that I was screaming. Okay, fine. Do I have to roll for eating? Do I have to roll for whatever too? Guess I got to roll for every single action I'm going to take in this stupid game. So I'm a combination of that character. And also, there's another girl who comes in and she's just, I am an ancient wood elf of the great sea. So like, I get super into my character, and then I also really tend to complain when things don't go my way, or if I don't have the freedom that I want.
Very flowery, prone to stress.
Yes. So Corey and I, way back in the day, did a Gurps campaign.
Oh, geez. Yeah, that is going back.
And Gurps I liked because if I remember correctly, with Gurps, it was pretty much you had a lot of freedom.
The U in Gurps stands for universal. The G stands for generic.
And I was used to that, and that was the one pen and paper tabletop that I actually got really into. And I just got so used to the freedom that when I actually got into a D&D module, I'm like, what the heck is this?
Why do I have to be a class? Why do I have these things that I have to learn?
Yeah. Do you like 5e? Do you have any thoughts on 5e?
Honestly, I will tell you that in a month, because I have not touched 5e yet, and I am about to.
So. I feel like it's... So, my DM thought that I was hardcore into 4e, and then I told her, no, I just did GURPS. And they said, "Oh, okay, that makes sense."
Came out of the nose.
I guess. No. I guess fourth edition is similar to GURPS, where there's you can take a lot of liberties. And the one thing I don't like about 5e from what we're doing now is everything seems so rigid. Y'all rigid like a breadstick. That's a Mighty Boosh reference, by the way. For those that didn't pick up on that. So yeah, it's so rigid. But yeah, GURPS. That was an interesting time.
It was.
Real quick, I just want to talk about there's one thing I want to say about Magic the Gathering. And I still have my white deck, my Magic the Gathering white deck from the last time that we all used to get together and play at Eric's house.
Okay, so that's going to be like Kamigawa Ravnica?
Blazing Archon is my most Blazing Archon. I have a Blazing Archon and a Serra Angel in my deck.
Okay. Yeah, so, I'm just saying like in terms of like block.
As far as the actual
I stopped playing around like Ravnica, so.
Oh, okay. So basically, there was this one kid that we used to play MTG with, and basically every single dollar from his paycheck went into creating unbeatable decks that bent and broke the game, and bent and broke the rules. So these players, like our friend Eric, these players are the reason that more editions came out and specifically set rules against these things, because nobody, I think you were the only one that actually was able to beat him, right?
I can't remember.
At one point.
It's a long time ago.
Because he had a grindstone deck.
Okay.
Or the grinder
Millstone?
deck. The one where like something like that. It was something grinding and you put something down and it just stacks and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, Millstone forces you to discard, so it's probably something like that. Forces the opponent.
I mean, I pretty much, no matter what I did, no matter what anybody else did, nobody could win because he was literally paying to win. So I was like,
but that's it. It's all about the economy. It's a big...
The in-game economy?
Yes.
Ugh.
Yeah. It's like Eve, only you're playing cards.
So what I did was I went and took my money several years later and I bought up almost the entirety of the original Star Wars Decipher CCG. So I have that if you ever want to play it.
That's cool.
Yeah.
It's very cool.
And I'm pretty hip to the rules, and you have to. I mean, I kind of made I modified it just a little bit so we could get all the main characters and all the ships in, because you can't really do much with just 60 cards. So I basically just have 2 decks, and everyone just sort of does a turn from each deck. So one deck is spacecraft and vehicles, and the other one is just characters, and it works. And it's just a modified house rules, but it makes it. I mean, because it's not fun to just play with the tricks and whatever that you would play with MTG with the old Star Wars game. Because if you're going to play the old Star Wars card game, the old CCG, you want to like put down a Luke Skywalker or a Darth Vader, which, it's fine. It makes sense. You know what I mean? You don't want to do tricky stuff. You just want your heroes to battle it out and fly around on X-Wings and blow up the Death Star.
Yeah, no. Magic's all about combos and
So, do you still play
spamming
Magic?
people. No.
Okay.
I still have my deck.
Yes.
My ninja
See
deck.
about it. Ninja
being
deck.
weeb from way back.
What color was Ninja?
They had ninjas. Betrayal of Kamigawa had ninjas of all stripes, I believe, but I always played blue-black.
Oh, that's
because
right.
I'm that kind of guy.
The islands. Yeah, you seem like a dark, mysterious.
It's more like make you discard and counter and be a jerk.
Secretly badass.
Be negative, play experience.
So what's on your shirt?
Oh, this is a Gaogaigar shirt.
Gaogaigar, 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 Gaogaigar. Cue the epic rock music. You're the one that introduced me to that a long time ago.
Yes.
How many people actually know what that is?
Not many.
Do I get points for that? Do I get nerd
Yeah,
points
for
that?
remembering. Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely. It's funny because this last Anime Boston was the first one I went to in a while.
Mhm.
I went to
Glad to have you back.
all of them.
Good to
Yeah.
good to see you.
It was nice to be back. I went to the first one, and I went to like the first like 5 or 6. I was there for a.
You're a grizzled veteran.
I was.
Did you go to
I have
LineCon?
my lanyard with like all of my badges on them.
Did you go to LineCon?
I did not.
Oh, okay. You know what I'm talking about, right?
No, I have no idea.
Oh, okay, never mind. So LineCon
So out of
was
the con circuit thing.
LineCon was an Anime Boston where people that had pre-registered, or if I can't remember exactly what it was, but like,
jokes.
the lines lasted until Saturday afternoon for registration.
Woo! Yeah,
They
I always
started
did
Friday
that
morning.
Thursday pre-reg junk.
Yeah.
Not dealing with that.
Oh, so I still have the original 2 DVDs for Kaiju Big Battle.
That's great.
With
I still also have my kaiju CDs and DVDs.
and it's called More Better Fighto.
Yes.
Vamos a festejar, viva la Mel Gibson.
Were you at Anime Boston? I don't think it was the last one I went to, but they actually had a kaiju big battle at Anime Boston. Yeah.
This was one that this was many years ago.
This
right?
was many years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, that was one where they had where I bought the DVDs.
That's where you bought it. Okay,
Yes.
cool. Where the grand betrayal of Pablo Plantain got
Oh
killed,
my-
got murdered by Dr.
Pablo
Q
Plantain.
at the Prudential Center because they made a gigantic cardboard Prudential Center.
F minions. Bonk. Oh, I still have some Dr. Cube bumper stickers
That's
somewhere.
great. I still have my Team Spaceball.
Dr.
ones.
Cube.
I still have my Uchuchu signs and
Oh
everything
my God.
else.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to fire that up in the DVD player.
But
So-
speaking of Gaogaigar though, at that last Anime Boston I had gone to, Mike Sinternicholas, I believe is his name. He was the voice actor for Guy in Gaogaigar.
Okay.
He was more famously known as Dean Venture, I believe,
Oh,
in the Venture
okay.
Brothers. I think he's much more like his main thing. He does more like ADR and stuff like that, but he does voice act from like here and there. But it was funny. It's always fun to be, not to sound too hipster, but it's always fun to be the person that comes in and like asks for the totally different thing than what they're expecting. He was getting
Right.
lots of Venture Brothers stuff and everything else, and I came in with my Gaogaigar DVDs, and he's like, "Oh man!" And it was like,
That's awesome.
and it had only just like recently came out.
Super street cred.
Yeah, right. And it
Nerd
was
street cred right there.
great
Geek
because
street cred.
people, ask questions and everything else when they talk to him for signatures and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, "Hey, so what was it like actually doing a Broken Magnum?" And it was so amazing because he was just like, "Well," and he grabs the markers that he had for the signatures and he just grips them really tight. And I don't know, like, I probably shouldn't do it in here, right? Is it like, it would break the mic if I did it?
Oh.
Yeah,
probably.
probably. Yeah, so keep it on. He did a Broken Magnum though. He did a full-blown Scream Broken Magnum right there on the spot.
All right, you know what though? I'm gonna turn you down a bit. Try it now.
Like, is it safe? You think so?
It's safe.
He was like full on Broken Magnum. So, and all of his handlers were like, what the heck was that? Like, what is this happening? It was pretty amusing.
That's awesome. Maybe we could edit that. We could edit that after if we want to. So
Okay.
we're about ready to wind down. But I just want to mention Aggretsuko. I just finished the first 10 episodes of Aggretsuko. It's the
So
best
good.
topical humor. Every single person. I forget her name. The hippopotamus.
Oh, I can't remember.
Every
Hippopotamus's
single person has that
name. That one person.
stupid person that they work with. That the second you walk in, did you hear the rumors?
About
Did you
this
hear about
news?"
so and so? And I love that she.
That
just-
leads to the best scene in the whole thing when she asks, when she tells Haida
Staring into the
about
eyes?
when she tells Haida that Aggretsuko Retsuko was
aggressive
pregnant.
Retsuko.
Was
Oh, yeah.
Retsuko was pregnant, and he comes running up to her, and he's like, "Retsuko!" And he's freaking out, and she's like, "No, I'm not pregnant." And he was like, "Then what was the problem?" And that's when it flips to Fenico, and she's just ha 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 ha. It's like
I love that laugh. The Fenico
best
laugh.
thing.
That whole show just, and then my favorite quote was Washimi was describing the what do they call him? The prince, the out of pocket prince. She was making a commentary on the out of pocket prince, and she said, "That man seems like a soft candy for babies."
That whole like final arc was way more amusing than it had any right to be.
Oh,
Like,
it was great.
Came out of total left field since the show is not totally episodic.
The calluses and the bruising on her heels, I can attest to that. Don't make your girlfriends walk all day, especially if they're wearing heels.
Also,
okay?
if you're him, don't be
do
him.
it.
Like,
yeah.
If you what
don't
was
be
his
a
name?
soft candy for babies.
Yeah, don't be a soft
out of pocket
candy.
prince.
Yes.
I forget his real name.
Yeah, don't do nothing but drink canned coffee, which you can't do in America, but just the same.
Kankohi no bosso. I love Boss Coffee. When I was in Japan,
Boss Coffee is amazing.
Yes! You can get it if you go to
wait, where? What?
Ibisuya
Yep.
Market in Medford. They have Kankohi no bosso.
Oh my gosh, it was so good. I got hooked over my 2 weeks.
It's so good. Yes, but don't be that guy. I'm doing post it on my Twitter. You can follow me on Twitter. At some point, I'm doing a Washimi cosplay. It's not a furry cosplay.
It's good.
Check out my Twitter, because someone did this amazing, absolutely amazing Washimi cosplay where it was all about the eye makeup, the white sort of anime style wig, and then
you just stick the plumes
the white blouse, and then no, there's no plumes. It was just
really
It was just the human version, but
that's cool.
The eyes and the eyeliner and the yellow eyeshadow, it was beautiful. Go check out my Twitter, Eryn Spencer 2187.
Keep trying.
Yes,
you'll get it eventually.
Aggretsuko, the topical humor, just in general.
Yes,
you have to go check this out.
Quite amused.
So we've got 1 minute, about 1 minute. I just want to say, because we were supposed to talk about Gundam, we didn't really talk about Gundam. The only Gundams that I've seen are the original Gundam series, Sieg Zeon, 8th MS Team, and Gundam Wing when it was on Toonami. But Corey is do you have a social media that you want to send people to?
No.
Okay. So Corey is the local authority on all things Gundam. Gundam. He's like the biggest Gundam otaku that I know. So we're gonna have him back to talk about Gundam at some point.
Gundam for a full hour, no problem.
How good was 8th MS Team? Is that one of your favorites? Because I liked it.
Okay.
It's okay.
It's
okay.
You can't beat the goof scene. The goof scene kind of like just pushes it over for everybody. It's like, oh, what was that going on with the rest of the show? Romeo and Juliet. Oh, but the goof was sick, wasn't it? Like that's how it always goes.
So we are most definitely going to have you back to talk about Gundam more, because we totally skipped over that. But I'm glad we got to talk about Aggretsuko and canned coffee, and the one scene where she gets drunk and she says, "What is this feeling?" I'm getting drunk. And then she ukes in the bathroom, but it comes out as like a death metal scream.
Has anyone ever told you that you look like a Sanrio character?
Yes, I love that. And she's a red panda, which I just realized. But I love that.
Did you see while you're in Japan? Did you see who the boss was, like, of Boss Coffee?
Oh, Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah, Tommy Lee Jones, the boss.
Look that up. So yeah, ESP 008, 8th episode, 8th MS Team.
There we go.
ESP 008. We're gonna have Tori Mello back for sure, and Armory Games and Hobbies in Fairhaven.
Yeah.
Armory War Games.
War Games and Hobbies.
Armory War Games and Hobbies in Fairhaven. So thank you, Corey. 008. Thank you, my lovely unicorns. Signing off.